up? Welcome to another edition of SacTown Movie Buffs. Once again, I'm Kiara, and this is Jason, and today we are back reviewing a new movie that is actually playing in theaters, I think, only. I don't think it's streaming or anything.
Not yet.
I saw it at the Tower. I assume you did as well.
Oh no! Actually, I saw it at the Century Cinemark
I didn't
theater.
go there. I just if I'd known that, I would have went there because I had like free movie tickets there, so I just
There's other stuff.
Yeah. So I guess I just wasted like $20 or whatever it was going to see it there. Well, in any event, so the new movie that we're actually going to be reviewing today is called The French Dispatch. And without further ado, I'll let Jason take this away.
Sure. Okay, so French Dispatch is a new film by Wes Anderson, who is one of my favorite filmmakers. Definitely one of the most distinctive filmmakers there are out there these days. I mean, you can tell his movies. You can tell immediately, to the point where there's been some pretty good spoofs of his style because you can tell it immediately. This one is it's set. It's kind of an anthology, which is new for him. I've never seen him. His movies often have like an ensemble of characters, and each have their different arc or whatever. But this is the first time I've seen him make a movie where it's like specific stories in an anthology format. And the framework here is that it's all set around a fictional magazine that's located in a American outpost in France. All of it being fictional French country, and a fictional area of France, and a fictional magazine, of course. And the framework device is that each story is like an article from an issue, I think maybe the final issue of the French Dispatch, because the administrator, the boss, whatever his position is, I can't remember. It's been about a month since I saw it. Played by Bill Murray, has just passed away. So it's the staff is mourning his passing, and then the stories are articles from the final issue of the French Dispatch. So like I said out front, I'm a huge Wes Anderson fan. I consider Rushmore, The Royal Tenenbaums, Fantastic Mr. Fox, especially. Those are probably my three favorites. I consider all of those three my favorite films. And I like several other of his films. I like Moonrise Kingdom a lot. I like The Grand Budapest Hotel a lot. It took me a couple of viewings, but now I like The Darjeeling Limited quite a bit. Basically, this is a long intro to say, like, this one I didn't love. I have to admit, which was kind of surprising to me. I loved the first few minutes of it because it sets up the area, the cast of characters. It's got that Wes Anderson. I almost said Wes Craven. Wes Anderson feel to it. It's got that music that I really like, and it's like I love anthologies. So I was just like really geared up to love it, but I have to admit, like, at least on the first viewing, like, there's three stories, or maybe four. I mean, the one with Owen Wilson is like really quick one up front, which I liked. But the three main stories, the long ones, none of them really grabbed me at all. And to me, like, it seems like something I've been a little bit worried about with Wes Anderson is that he seems to be getting more, and this sounds bad, but he seems to be getting more and more Wes Anderson-y as he goes on. You know what I mean? Like, to the point where, like, I'm worried a little bit, like, the emotion, the heart is going out of his stories. Because early on, like, The Royal Tenenbaums, Rushmore, Fantastic Mr. Fox, these have that great, like, symmetrical visual style that he has in his style, but they also had like a lot of feeling in them, and that's what really sealed the deal for me. I love the visual style, the aesthetic, but what really seals the deal for me in those films is that I really care about the characters too, and it seems like his movies are getting like, I don't know, colder, I guess you could say. Like the Grand Budapest Hotel was this way a little bit. That's a very cold movie. I had to watch it a couple of times to really kind of find the human element in there. and maybe that'll happen with the French Dispatch. You know, like he's one of my favorite filmmakers, so I'm never going to just watch one of his films once and then say like, you know, that one's done for me. I'm going to revisit it eventually at some point, and maybe then I'll find like the you know, the emotion under there, under all the Wes Anderson, you know, ticks and, you know, visual composition. But this time I can tell you that, like, I don't know, all three stories just kind of left me pretty cold. I like the framework really, but even there, it's like he's cutting out the emotion to the point where it's just really all I got is like the aesthetic value, which is still cool, I guess. But I don't know. I kind of wish he'd get back to more human-oriented stories like he did earlier in his career. And I read a review. Somebody on Letterboxd said that this almost feels like this movie, at least on the first viewing, it almost feels like. I mean, we see those jokes on like the internet and stuff where it's like, you know, it's usually not real, but they say like, you know, we fed a computer, you know, 1,000 hours of, you know, this type of thing, and then like this is like the computer generated version of it. And someone said this almost feels like the AI generated version of a Wes Anderson movie because it's got all of the Wes Anderson stuff in it, but like it doesn't feel right this time. I don't know. It doesn't have any kind of human element to it. So again, I may watch it again and feel totally differently about it. I know a lot of people who love it. Maybe I'll love it after I watch it a second time with my expectations adjusted a little bit. But all I can say is this time I felt a little let down by it. But he's still one of my favorite filmmakers. I will still line up to watch whatever he puts out, unless he puts out like, you know, 5 more movies like this, and then I might start to just focus on his older stuff. But anyway, that's what I thought. I'm conflicted on this one. How about you, Kier?
So yeah, so first confession I need to make about this film is I didn't know going into it that it was actually a Wes Anderson film. I didn't know anything about this film. So saw. I hadn't even seen a trailer for this film. I just saw that it was playing at the Tower, which is how I ended up at the Tower, and that it looked interesting. And my now wife said that she wanted to see it, and so I was like, yeah, that's fine. It looks like it's got a lot of stars in it. You know, let's go check it out. But obviously 5 minutes into the film, you know, immediately I realized it was a Wes Anderson film. So
yeah, it doesn't take very long.
Yeah, it's quite obvious a Wes Anderson film. You know, he's always been a little hit or miss for me. And I agree with a lot what you're saying about some of his films, sometimes missing the heart. The issue I kind of have with Wes Anderson is the fact that all of his films are kind of that same kind of arc, that same look, that same feel, that same music. And it's a little, I don't want to say predictable, but it's like he just continues that same style. It's like he's almost pigeonholed into that style, which, you know, a lot of people love. But as somebody that's kind of hit or miss, you know, it would be nice to see him maybe step outside of the quirky comedies that he always does. I mean, all of his films are pretty much quirky comedies for the most part, which is fine. If that's your thing, that's your thing. But, you know, I don't know. I just don't feel like the range is always necessarily there for me anyways, just my own interpretation. It's like I said, I can watch a Wes Anderson film and know within the 5 minutes it's a Wes Anderson film, you know, just by the look of it, the sound of it, the feel. And I guess you could make that argument about some directors, but there's a lot of directors that are very distinctive. I don't know inherently that this is that director's film always if you just showed it to me, you know, off the, you know, from the jump. But him, I can definitely tell, and I just wish he would do some different styles because they're almost all quirky comedies for me. Some better than others, obviously. I really love Moonrise Kingdom. I really love some of the other ones that he's done. Fantastic Mr. Fox. A lot of those are really, really great. This one here, I kind of had maybe some of the same issues you had. I did enjoy it, but you know, none of the stories I thought were, you know, inherently great, or I was like really moved by any of the stories, or really, you know, I can say 100% engaged in the stories. I wasn't necessarily bored or anything of that nature, but you know, like I said, it's essentially 4 stories, but really it's just say 3 because that first one's really kind of an anomaly. It's really, really short, like you said. But obviously the one, you know, the prison story I thought was fairly interesting, and then the other 2. The middle one, I pretty much almost checked out of, you know, in my head. And, you know, that one was the worst one I thought of the 3. And then I thought they kind of brought it back a little bit with the last story, with the whole kidnapping and things of that nature. Yeah. but yeah, but I don't know. I felt myself nodding off a little bit in the middle because I was just kind of like the story is not that interesting to me. Just for me, it wasn't that the middle one wasn't that interesting. But overall, like I said, it was I laughed a few times. It was like I said, they're all quirky comedies, so you'll get a few laughs here and there. The dialogue's a little quirky. The characters are always different and strange, and but I don't know, just something about this film. I can't say that I necessarily loved it, but I definitely didn't hate it. I just thought it was pretty good or good, but definitely not great. Definitely not, like I said, definitely not, Moonrise Kingdom for me or Fantastic Mr. Fox for me. Just my own opinion, and some of his other ones that I've enjoyed. It's not on that level for me. It's definitely in the lower end of the spectrum for me. And I don't love everything that he does anyway. So
yeah.
So. Yeah, just my take.
Yeah. I mean, I pretty much agree. Yeah.
Yeah, I almost couldn't even tell you anything about that middle story, to be honest with you. I don't know if I was nodding off or just like I was bored or what, but I definitely don't remember it as well as the first two stories, or well, whatever you want to call it. I'm just gonna take the three stories. So the first two, so the first three, there.
No, yeah. To be honest, I mean. Granted, it's been 3 or 4 weeks since I saw it, but the only thing I remember about the middle one is that it's got Timothée Chalamet in it, and that's literally the only thing I remember about it.
Yeah,
as like kind of a revolutionary, like a anarchist or I don't know,
something to that nature. I just saw it on Sunday, and I barely Saturday. Yeah, I barely remember it. So that tells you if that tells you anything. So yeah, I don't remember a whole lot about it. But like I said, it wasn't terrible. I just it just wasn't as memorable as some of his other films, I guess. But but it's always a good cast. The acting's always good. He always seems to land the big name stars. Bill Murray's kind of billed as one of the leads, but and the framework is around basically him, but he's barely even in there. He has maybe 5 lines, 10 lines the entire movie. So I was a little like I thought maybe he was going to be more of a focal point in the movie, and the movie is in itself is basically about him, but it's also mostly about his death. So it's kind of like he's not really in the film a whole heck of a lot. So it's a small point as well. But like I said, overall not a terrible film. I would watch it again, but it definitely wasn't one of my favorites of his, that's for sure. So
yeah. And I will definitely revisit it, at some point. I like, he's one of my favorite filmmakers, and there were what?
And say it's amazing.
No, because like for instance, like The Life Aquatic. I've watched that probably 3 times now, and it still doesn't. I still don't really love that movie. So, see, that's an example of one I've gone back to expecting to, this time I'll love it, but it still doesn't really connect for me. Darjeeling Limited, it worked when I revisited it. We'll see about this one. There were kernels of things that I thought might be interesting in there, and maybe it'll play better when I go back to it. But there are kernels of interesting things in Life Aquatic too, but that one's never. I've just never connected with that one. So maybe it'll be like one of those. I don't know. He's still one of my favorite filmmakers. I'll still line up for whatever he puts out. But this was not like a out the gate winner for me. Definitely not. So
yeah. Like I said, he's got a very distinctive style. You're either gonna love it or maybe not like it as much. But it's just I don't know. I hate to say he doesn't have that much depth because that's not what I really want to say. It feels like the same type of film that he makes. I don't know. It's that same feel. You know what I mean? So it's just the same look, the same kind of quirkiness of the characters, and the same. And I don't know. I just kind of like to see him do something maybe outside of that. Take a chance. I don't know. So, but that's just me. So, but his style is his style. He's probably not going to change. Definitely not. Based on my opinion. but I don't know. So.
Yeah, I don't see him making an action movie anytime soon. Well, if it is, it'll be like the kidnapping stuff in this one. Which is like still just kind of just quirky and weird and goofy and like
it doesn't even
animated.
necessarily have to be action, but it doesn't always have to be
Yeah.
so Wes Anderson. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. So I don't know. It's just a
Well.
slight fault that I have with his style of filmmaking.
Yeah.
That it always, and maybe it's just because this one I didn't enjoy as much as some of his ones. I guess I don't know. It's just like
Yeah.
the ones that I don't necessarily love of his. I think that's one of the reasons why I don't love them, because it's that same quirkiness of those characters, and I feel like sometimes it's going to work, sometimes it's not going to work. And I'm not saying this one didn't necessarily work, but it didn't work to my satisfaction, to where I would have been like, oh wow, I really enjoyed that film. So
Yeah.
I don't know. That's all I'm saying. I just wish he would. I wish he would take some additional liberties in terms of trying something a little different in terms of that same feel formula that he likes to do with those quirky characters. That's all. I mean, I guess you could say this one's different because he's got 4 different stories that are all kind of separate from each other, but it's still that same quirkiness characters, the same weirdness of the characters, the same set in some 1960s, 1950s, back in the time kind of thing. I don't know. So, but
yeah. Man, I doubt he's going to change, because it sure keeps working for him, man. Because it's people like big stars keep lining up to be in 5-minute roles in his movies, and Oscar nominations, and you should look up. I don't remember the name of it right now, but you should look up like the cast that's in his next movie that I think is already made. I think it's already made and going to be coming out soon. But like I don't remember the name of the movie, but like something City or something. But look at the cast in that movie, and it looks like almost like not real. It's like just people are like megastars are just lining up to probably be in like 5 minutes of the movie. You know what I mean? Right. But like just look at the cast of that movie. I can't remember off the top of my head who's there, but it's almost like a who's who of like Hollywood right now. It's like insane.
Yeah, I mean, this one was in some capacities was almost that way. I mean, there were a lot of people in this movie that I thought would have a bigger role when I saw them, and they were barely even in there, like very much. Edward Norton was in there for a very brief period. I'm like, half the time he was in there, he was a cartoon with no lines. You know what I mean? So, but it's just one of those things. So, but cool.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to add about the French Dispatch?
Nope, not at this time.
All right. Overall grade and face you would give this one.
Oh man. Okay, so on this first viewing, I gave it. This is sad, but I gave it 2.5 out of 5, which is a C. So just kind of a. I don't know. That's kind of how I was like after like the first. Like I love the intro. I was like, ooh, I was just gearing up for like another winner from one of my favorite filmmakers, and I really liked the framework, introduction, and I liked that first story with Owen Wilson. It was just fun, just a funny little like 5-minute story. I was all on board for it, and then like I don't know, I just felt my interest going down and down and down and down and down. So yeah, that's how I may watch it a year from now and be telling you how wrong I was. But for now, unfortunately, it's a C.
Yeah, I understand that. Because basically I'm giving it the same grade. I'm giving it 2.5 out of 5. So like I said, there was a lot there that I like, but not enough where I would say I would love it. It's like one of those ones. It's like a 2.5, like I said, that I would probably watch again. Definitely wouldn't be lining up to watch it or anything of that nature. I went with a 2.5 out of a 5. So it's just kind of like a hint of a smile, like a. But just not one of my favorites, that's for sure.
Hey, that's the look on your face every time you see me. What is that supposed to mean?
Yeah, not one of my favevorites. Yeah, it's actually more of a frown when I see you.
Oh man. Oh man, maybe I should have picked up on that in the last 25 years.
Yeah, don't come around here.
Yeah.
Don't show your face.
Yeah.
But let us know down in the comments. Have you seen the French Dispatch? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Are we way off on our reviews? Was it the best movie you've seen all year? Let us know.
I know people who'd probably say that. I know a lot of people who've given it 5 stars.
Yeah, I don't doubt it. But, as always, if you like the channel, we ask that you like, subscribe, make sure you hit that bell notification, and we'll be back again soon with another show for you guys. We thank you for watching. Hope you have a great day.